Hello everyone and welcome to an exciting journey into the world of biology. Today, we are diving deep into a fascinating topic from your Class 9 ICSE syllabus, fermentation, as part of the Five Kingdom classification chapter. From the simple rising of bread to complex industrial processes, fermentation is everywhere. We'll explore this topic across 4 levels of understanding: easy, medium, hard, and hardest, building your knowledge step by step. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind this ancient biological process. Let's start our exploration with the basics. What exactly is fermentation? It's simpler than you might think. Imagine tiny living things, called microorganisms, doing all the work. Fermentation is essentially a natural process where these microbes, like yeast and certain bacteria, break down sugars. They do this to get energy, and in doing so, they produce new substances, often in places where there isn't much oxygen. Think of it as their way of eating and breathing without air. This amazing process changes organic materials thanks to special chemicals called enzymes that these microbes produce. It's how these tiny creatures transform simple sugars into completely different chemicals, like alcohol or various acids, as their byproducts. So, who are these tiny workers? The main players are microorganisms like yeast, which is a type of fungus, and various types of bacteria. You see their work every day. For instance, yeast is responsible for making your bread rise. It ferments the sugars in the dough, producing carbon dioxide gas that gets trapped and makes the bread fluffy. Another great example is curd or yogurt. Here, specific bacteria ferment the lactose, which is the sugar in milk, turning it into lactic acid. This acid not only thickens the milk but also gives curd its distinctive sour taste. Fermentation is not just about taste and texture, it's also a fantastic way to preserve food, as the acidic environment created can stop harmful bacteria from growing. Alright, time to check your understanding with a few quick questions. First, what is the main ingredient that microorganisms break down during fermentation? Second, can you name 2 common microorganisms involved in this process? And finally, give 2 everyday examples of food products that are made using fermentation. Think about what we just discussed. Now that you have the basics down, let's go a bit deeper into the science behind fermentation. How does it fit into the bigger picture of how organisms get energy? Fermentation is actually a specific type of anaerobic respiration. What does anaerobic mean? It simply means without oxygen. So, when organisms need energy but there isn't enough oxygen around, they can turn to fermentation. It's a less efficient way to produce energy compared to aerobic respiration, which uses oxygen, but it's crucial for survival in oxygen-scarce environments. The primary role of fermentation is to regenerate a molecule called NAD+ from NAD. This regeneration is absolutely vital because it allows the first stage of glucose breakdown, called glycolysis, to continue. Glycolysis is where a small amount of ATP, which is the cell's energy currency, is produced. There are 2 main types of fermentation you should know. The first is alcoholic fermentation ***. This is typically carried out by yeast and some bacteria. In this process, glucose is converted into ethanol, which is alcohol, and carbon dioxide gas. This is the magic behind brewing beer, making wine, and, as we discussed, the rising of bread dough. The second type is *** lactic acid fermentation ***. This is performed by certain bacteria, like the ones in yogurt, and also by our own muscle cells when they're working very hard and not getting enough oxygen. Here, glucose is converted into lactic acid. This process is essential for making dairy products like yogurt and cheese, and also for pickling vegetables. Let's look at the key products and their uses. From alcoholic fermentation, we get ethanol which is used not just in alcoholic beverages but also as a biofuel. And of course, carbon dioxide which gives bread its fluffy texture and sparkling drinks their fizz. From lactic acid fermentation, we get lactic acid which provides the sour taste in dairy products, helps preserve foods through pickling, and is also responsible for that burning sensation and soreness you might feel in your muscles after an intense workout. The process itself always starts with glycolysis where glucose is broken down into pyruvate. Then, depending on the organism and the conditions, pyruvate is converted into these different end products to regenerate nut plus. Alright, time to test your knowledge at the medium level. First, how is fermentation related to anaerobic respiration? Second, what are the two main types of fermentation mentioned, and which microorganisms are typically involved in each? Third, name two commercially important products of alcoholic fermentation. Fourth, why do our muscles sometimes feel sore after strenuous exercise? And finally, what is the primary purpose of regenerating nut plus during fermentation? Ready to elevate your understanding? Let's dive into the more complex aspects of fermentation, comparing it with other metabolic pathways and exploring its deeper implications. Fermentation is quite different from aerobic respiration, which is the main way most living things get energy. The biggest difference is oxygen. Fermentation happens without it, while aerobic respiration absolutely needs it. Also, the energy yield is vastly different. Fermentation is quite inefficient, producing only about 2 ATP molecules per glucose. Aerobic respiration, on the other hand, is a powerhouse, generating around 32 ATP molecules from one glucose molecule. And the end products are distinct. Fermentation leaves behind organic byproducts like lactic acid or ethanol, while aerobic respiration produces simple inorganic compounds, carbon dioxide and water. Both pathways, however, start with glycolysis, where glucose is broken down into pyruvate. It's after this step that their paths diverge. Pyruvate either goes into fermentation if oxygen is absent, or into the mitochondria for the Krebs cycle and electron transport chain if oxygen is available. Let's explore the ecological and physiological significance of fermentation. From an ecological standpoint, fermentation is a crucial survival strategy. It allows microorganisms to thrive in environments where oxygen is scarce, such as deep in soils, stagnant water bodies, or even within the digestive tracts of animals. These fermenting bacteria play vital roles in nutrient cycling, breaking down organic matter in anaerobic conditions. Physiologically, in humans, during intense exercise, our muscle cells may not receive enough oxygen. When this happens, they switch to lactic acid fermentation to quickly generate some ATP. However, the buildup of lactic acid contributes significantly to muscle fatigue and the soreness you feel after a strenuous workout. Various factors affect fermentation, including optimal temperature and pH for the specific microorganisms involved, the concentration of the sugar substrate, and, of course, the critical presence or absence of oxygen. Understanding fermentation also connects to broader theories of cellular energy and evolution. It represents a more ancient, rudimentary form of energy production, likely predating the rise of significant oxygen levels in Earth's atmosphere. This suggests that fermentation was a foundational metabolic pathway for early life forms, allowing them to extract energy from organic molecules in an anaerobic world. Its continued prevalence in diverse organisms, from bacteria to human muscle cells, highlights its fundamental role as a fallback mechanism for energy generation when oxygen is limited. This adaptability has been key to the survival and diversification of life on Earth, linking directly to the principles of cellular respiration and metabolic pathways. Now for the hard-level practice questions. First, compare the energy yield in ATP molecules per glucose of fermentation versus aerobic respiration. Second, explain why lactic acid fermentation occurs in human muscle cells during strenuous activity. Third, what are the final inorganic products of aerobic respiration, and how do they differ from the organic products of fermentation? Fourth, describe how temperature and pH can influence the rate of fermentation by microorganisms. Fifth, both fermentation and aerobic respiration start with glycolysis. What happens to pyruvate in each pathway subsequently? Sixth, why is fermentation considered a less efficient method of energy production than aerobic respiration? And finally, how do fermenting microorganisms contribute to nutrient cycling in an ecosystem? You've mastered the complex. Now, let's push the boundaries of your knowledge. We are entering the hardest level, where we'll delve into the intricate biochemistry, industrial applications, and profound evolutionary significance of fermentation. At the biochemical core, fermentation is a clever solution to a problem: how to regenerate NAD+ for glycolysis when oxygen isn't available. Let's look at the specifics. In alcoholic fermentation after glycolysis produces pyruvate, an enzyme called pyruvate decarboxylase removes a carbon dioxide molecule from pyruvate, leaving behind acetaldehyde. Then, alcohol dehydrogenase steps in, using NAD to reduce acetaldehyde into ethanol, simultaneously regenerating NAD+. For lactic acid fermentation it's a more direct route. Lactate dehydrogenase directly reduces pyruvate using NAD, producing lactate and, critically, regenerating NAD+. The efficiency of these processes is governed by enzyme kinetics. Each enzyme has optimal conditions for temperature and pH, and their activity can be regulated by product inhibition or allosteric control, ensuring the cell's metabolic needs are met precisely. Fermentation isn't just a microscopic process, it's a cornerstone of industrial biotechnology. In biofuel production massive bioreactors are engineered to optimize yeast growth and ethanol yield from biomass. This involves precise control of nutrient feed, temperature, pH, and oxygen levels, ensuring maximum efficiency and purity. The pharmaceutical industry also heavily relies on fermentation for producing vital antibiotics like penicillin and other complex drugs using specific microbial strains. In the food and beverage sector from brewing to cheesemaking, meticulous engineering of fermentation parameters ensures consistent product quality, flavor profiles, and safety. Furthermore, fermentation plays a crucial role in waste treatment where anaerobic digesters utilize fermenting bacteria to break down organic waste, generating valuable biogas like methane, highlighting its diverse and impactful applications. From an evolutionary standpoint, fermentation holds immense significance. It's believed to be one of the most ancient metabolic pathways, emerging in the anaerobic conditions of early Earth, long before oxygen became abundant in the atmosphere. This primitive form of energy generation allowed the earliest life forms, the prokaryotes, to extract vital ATP from organic molecules, laying the foundation for all subsequent metabolic evolution. Its ubiquity across different kingdoms, particularly in Monera various bacteria, and fungi like yeasts, underscores its fundamental nature. The specific end products of fermentation are often used as biochemical markers in microbial identification and classification within the five kingdom system. Organisms are categorized as obligate anaerobes which rely exclusively on fermentation, facultative anaerobes which can switch between fermentation and aerobic respiration, or obligate aerobes which cannot perform fermentation. This metabolic diversity is a testament to fermentation's critical role in shaping life on Earth. The legacy of fermentation continues to expand. Its study provides fundamental insights into cellular metabolism, enzyme function, and microbial physiology. In modern biology, understanding fermentation pathways is crucial for genetic engineering, allowing scientists to manipulate microorganisms for enhanced production of desired compounds or to develop novel bioremediation strategies. The principles derived from studying fermentation have also informed our understanding of human health, particularly gut microbiome function, where diverse fermenting bacteria contribute to digestion and nutrient absorption. Thus, fermentation, from its ancient origins to its cutting-edge applications, remains a central pillar in biology, biotechnology, and continues to influence our world in profound ways, a true testament to the power of tiny organisms. Now for the hardest level questions, Part 1. First, outline the specific enzymatic steps involved in the conversion of pyruvate to ethanol in alcoholic fermentation, including the intermediate compound and enzyme names. Second, explain the role of NAD+ and NAD regeneration in maintaining the continuity of glycolysis during fermentation. Third, discuss how product inhibition and allosteric regulation might impact the overall efficiency of an industrial fermentation process. Fourth, from an evolutionary perspective, why is fermentation considered a primitive metabolic pathway, and what conditions on early Earth might have favored its development? And fifth, describe the key engineering considerations in designing a bioreactor for large-scale alcoholic fermentation, focusing on parameters that need optimization. Here are the hardest level questions, Part 2. Sixth, compare and contrast the final electron acceptors in lactic acid fermentation, alcoholic fermentation, and aerobic respiration. Seventh, how do obligate anaerobes differ from facultative anaerobes in their reliance on fermentation, and provide an example of each. Eighth, beyond food and beverages, identify and explain two other significant industrial applications of fermentation. Ninth, detail how the specific end products of fermentation can be used as diagnostic tools in microbial classification. And 10th, analyze the energy efficiency of fermentation versus aerobic respiration in terms of electron transfer and proton motive force generation. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into fermentation. We've journeyed from its basic definition to its intricate biochemical pathways, industrial applications, and profound evolutionary significance. I hope this layered approach has given you a comprehensive understanding of this fascinating biological process. Remember, learning is a continuous journey, and there's always more to explore. For more engaging and in-depth educational content, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting biology lessons. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.